An Accra High Court has ordered Achimota School to admit 2 Rastafarian students it denied admission over their refusal to cut their dreadlocks. The Human Rights Division of the High Court, presided over by Justice Gifty Ejay-Ado, ruled that the fundamental human rights of 2 students cannot be limited by the rules in question. Tyrone Magwai and Ohineba Kwekun-Krabia sued the school's Board of Governors, the Minister of Education, Ghana Education Service and the Attorney General to enforce their fundamental human rights. Lawyer for the student has been speaking, well, there he is speaking now. We can listen to it.
With persons like Elona Rezovet, who is the architect of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. She ranks herself with Mary Robertson, the former president of Ireland, who was also a United High Commissioner for Human Rights. These are consented citizens who out there are helping to make sure that human rights are not just on statute books, but they are observed, they are respected, they are protected, and they are fulfilled. What her leadership has just done today is to make sure that human rights is not just on our law books, but it must be respected, it must be protected, and it must be fulfilled. And what it is that makes it beautiful is that she read some persuasive judgment and rulings from other jurisdictions like Kenya, South Africa, Zimbabwe. And now Ghana has also stamped its authority in fulfilling human rights. So instantly, Ghana's ruling has also now gotten to that level. If something happens in another Commonwealth country, that is to say where the practice of law is common law, they can equally cite her leadership, Gifty Ejay-Ado's ruling in fulfilling and protecting fundamental human rights. This is what this judge has done. And if the media is talking about this matter, I would want you to spend 1 minute to look at the extent and the excess of what she has done today and propagate it. She has really cemented the protection of fundamental human rights in this country just by her ruling today. And it's going to stay.
So, Gifty, Ras, while they're trying to explain to us the judgment rendered by the judge of the High Court involving these 2 Rastafarian students and their fight with Achimota School, to whether or not to admit Achimota School argue that these 2 students' decision or their refusal to cut their dreadlocks violated the school rules and regulations, for which reason they did not want to admit them and they were not going to admit them. These 2 students filed their application here at the Accra High Court, the Human Rights Division, and so we will be speaking to some of these students that were involved in this case, the parents, who are very much elated about this particular decision. So it's a lot of fun for the Rastafarian students who were involved in this case, who believe that this is a big win for them, and they are hoping and they are praying that when they have to go back to Achimota School, they will be accepted. And so we will be getting more reaction from the parents and the children involved in this particular instance specifically. But today, at the High Court, Justice Gifty Ejay-Ado has just rendered her decision and has ruled that the 2 Rastafarian students must be admitted. Gifty.
You can hear me.
Right. So, Ohineba Kwekun-Krabia. Let me speak to Ohineba Kwekun-Krabia. He was one of the students who was involved in this. Ohineba, what is your reaction to this ruling that has come down today?
Well, I'm really grateful for the court's decisions, and I'm hoping to go to school very soon.
Right. And so, for all this period of months or weeks that you've been home, what has been going through your mind as you wait for the court to deliver its ruling on this case?
Well, before I thought I was lacking out, but I saw that as I was doing my online classes, it didn't matter whether I didn't go to school or not. As long as I'm getting the same education as they are, I can go through this. So I also believe that the court would rule for us. So I kept on with my classes, my online program, WOLO, and I believe I can cope with my friends in their academic when I get back to school.
Right, sure. So, Gifty, you just heard from Kwekun-Krabia. He was one of the students who were involved in the issue. Let me speak to Ras Aswad and Krabia. He's father of one of the children who were involved in this suit. This judgment has come down. It's been something that you've been expecting. What is your reaction to this?
Oh, as you can see, I'm very, very, very excited and appreciate the fact that the judge stuck to the course. From beginning, she said that she's going to ensure that it is fast-tracked. she was going to expedite it to make sure that the children wouldn't suffer, and she did just like she said. Secondly is that what we said in the beginning about the violation of the Constitution, all along that was my position, and I maintained it, that the Constitution was being violated. And that is where she delivered the most powerful presentation today.
And so, when are you sending your children to school?
Well, I have to sit with the whole family and then we decide, because we are expecting that the school will give us a warm welcome when we go there. We're not expecting a situation where we are not properly welcome.
And so, are you saying that you expect some sort of victimization of the children when they go there, or there will be an unwelcoming environment?
I have been advised by teachers there, I've been advised by students there, I've been advised by so many people in the society that we should not send them there anymore. But I don't believe that, because it is their right to be there. And whatever challenges they have to face there, they have to stand up as lions and face these challenges.
Thank you very much, Rasta Nkrabia. So Ras Nkrabia is parent of one of the children involved in this situation. He says he's very delighted about the judgment that has been rendered today by Justice Giftie J.Ado of the Accra High Court, the Human Rights Division. He says he's going to sit down together with the family and they will take a decision as to whether or not they are sending their children to Achimota School, although the judgment is clear that Achimota School must admit these two students. It denied admission because of their dreadlocks. The judge has been arguing that on the probabilities of the evidence that were adduced before her, she does not think that Achimota School and also the proponents, including the Ghana Education Service, the Attorney General's Department, who spoke like them in court, have made a compelling argument as to why those two students should not be admitted, especially given their rights to education as well as their rights to express their religious freedom. So Giftie, that's what is going on right here at the Human Rights Division of the High Court. The parents and the Rastafarians who are around very much delighted.
Well, let me just find out from you whether they're going to now withdraw the students, because we understand at the beginning that they were taken to another school.
Giftie, come again, please.
So we know, or we knew at the beginning, that some of the students, I think both the twins, no, so 3 of them from the other side, and then Nkrabia, we knew that they were taken to another school. Are they now going to withdraw from those schools?
Right, so what they have been doing is to have online learning and home education, as I've been speaking to the parents of these kids. And so as this case traveled this time in court, the children were having online education and homeschooling. They had not made a decision as to whether or not they were going to attend other schools. But now, just the father told me a while ago that they are considering their options. They are looking at the welfare of their kids in terms of the victimization they probably could suffer if they go to Achimota School. But Ras Wayo, who is lawyer for the children, told me that what they know is that if there's any sort of victimization in terms of towards the students when they go to Achimota School, they will apply to a court to defend the rights of the students. And so for the last 3 months that these children have been home, they've been having home education, online education, waiting for the court's judgment to come down to see whether or not their ruling will support the case that they've made about the dreadlocks that the students carried. But today, Raswayo seems to give me an impression that the children will go to Achimota School as early as tomorrow or the day after. And the father is also telling me that this is something, a conversation they would have to have with the rest of the family to be able to make a decision on this.
And Kwaku, what about the Achimota School or their representatives? Are they there? What have they been saying? What has been their reaction to this judgment?
Right, so earlier in court today, Professor Ernest Aite is a former Vice Chancellor of the University of Ghana and part of the Board of Governors of Achimota School. He was in court, but they did not speak to the media. Right after the judgment, the lawyers and every part of the Attorney General and the respondent side, that is the Ghana Education Service, the Ministry of Education, Attorney General's Department, all did not speak to the media. They just left the court premises. As soon as Justice Giftie J.Ado delivered the judgment in those 2 suits. And so they did not speak to the media. We tried to get some word from them, but they did not want to give any word to the media for now. We don't even know if they will exercise their right to appeal as they have in this case.
What happened earlier today? We understand that journalists were asked to leave the courtroom while the hearing was delivered. the judgment was delivered.
Right, and so when it was time to render the judgment at 2 p.m., a court clerk indicated to all the journalists in the courtroom that they had to step out because of an order she had received from above. She did not say exactly who the order came from, but all journalists were asked to step out of the courtroom. And so for all the journalists here who were not inside the courtroom as the judge rendered her judgment, we had to rely on third-party explanations from whatever has happened in court to be able to report here. So we were not allowed to be in court and sit through because the clerk, according to her, had received some orders from above that only parties involved in the suit, that is Achimota School, Ministry of Education, Ghana Education Service, as well as the 2 Rastafarian students and their lawyers were allowed to be in court.
Kweku, I want to talk about how the journalists felt about this, but then I'm seeing behind you a group of Rastafarian, people who I believe came to support the team. I want to find out, maybe find out from them what their thoughts are, and to also find out what they think this means for the Rastafarian society in Ghana.
Right, and so let me try and speak to some of them. Hello, sir, Rastafari. So, what are your impressions about this ruling that has come down? Are you very happy with it?
Over happiness, I can't express it, I'm overjoyed, I'm very happy for what is happening, and I'm very glad too,
Right, so Gifty, today in court, and from my days reporting in court, usually you don't see this, but they came in with this MP3 music player, playing music even as the judge was rendering her judgment. They were asked to stop before they did stop, but now, right after the judge rendered her decision, it's been music and music of reggae this and dancing to the tunes right here at the Human Rights Division of the Accra High Court, having a lot of fun, a lot of merrymaking. They say they are extremely excited about this decision that has been rendered by the High Court. They say that this is the best decision, and in the words of Raswayo, he says the judge, Justice Gifty J. Ado, has elevated herself to the levels of Eleanor Roosevelt and others. And so they say they are very excited about this, and they are playing a lot of music right outside the court premises and having loads of fun over here.
And it looks to me like you found someone that you want to talk to, Kweku. So let's get that going. But if you're just joining in, that's Kweku Asante coming to us live from the court, where a hearing today was underway just a few minutes ago. The court has decided that the Rastafarian students who were denied admission to Achimota School be allowed to go back to school. Kweku, I'm seeing that the other Rastafarian students who were from, I think, Wesley Grammar, who were denied at Wesley Grammar, are also there. This case is different from their case, correct?
Right, so that situation, that case is also different. So far, no suit has been filed, but I tried to speak to them early on, but their father said they do not want to speak on they do not want to speak on that matter for now, because they wanted to bask in the glory of this new judgment that has been rendered by the Accra High Court in the matter involving Iras Tyrone Magai and Ras Kweku Nkrabia and these students. So those 2 students who also had similar issues in another school has not come up so much, and the family does not want to discuss it for now. They say today they are excited about the judgment rendered by Justice Gifty J. Ado, and that is the only thing they want to focus on for now.
I'm seeing that he's standing right there by you. Maybe we can talk to him as well and find out what this means to him. Does it give him optimism about his own case that's still in court? And is it just to make the statement, or for them, is it more of a long-term education relevance as far as Rastafarian students are concerned?
If you can make the point one last time, please.
So I want you to talk to the father of the other Rastafarian students who is standing by you right now, because I want to find out what this means to him.
Right.
As a person.
Right. So he's on the phone now. So let me talk to Tyrone. Tyrone, how excited are you about this decision?
I am highly excited about this decision that the court made, because from a mutual standpoint, not like in favor of one party or the other party, but from a mutual standpoint, that that goes well with Achimota as well as with the Rastafarian. I think this is the best because we growing up as Rasta kids, we have our individual dreams, and it includes going through the SHS. That's why I tried my possible best to score an aggregate 6, something that less than 1% of the entire 500,000 kids scored. So you can see how prepared I was to fulfill my dreams. And so having to go through all of this trauma and all of this discrimination, and now knowing that it was somewhat not necessary to have gone through all of this, it means a lot to me, because I feel my dreams are not going to be shattered or sat upon in
Leon, you told me that your dreams of being an engineer is on course. How does this judgment get you through that?
Okay, without this judgment, I guess we would still have to be coming to the court for a very long time, because some argue that this court case may last for a very long time. Some may take likely months, but if you're unlucky, years or even decades, possibly. So I thought, as long as this case is in court, when you go into another school, you tell it's contempt to be in the school. So that was like a highly detrimental to my dreams as in the future. So now knowing that we've come to a conclusion and I can go back to my plan of fulfilling my dreams, it means a lot to me. I'm very happy.
So you talk about going through traumatic experiences. This past 2 to 3 months, how has it been for you, having to wake up every day to know that this is at the level of the court and the court holds your fate in balance?
Okay, back in the days when we were in JHS, we are triplet with my sister. We are triplet with my triplets. One girl is first, I'm second, and the last girl. And we always went to school together, right from crèche in Kumasi, and then always together. We always together. And so getting to SHS, you see, for the usual teenager, going to SHS is like an important something in your life, because in JHS you hear a lot of tales about SHS. You want to experiment, especially the first days and its adventures for the science nerds and stuff like that. And so at this time, I had to always watch my sisters go. Sometimes I would just go with them, hoping to join them on the bus and leave to the school. But so if I have to walk back and stuff like that, and sometimes you have to keep this I'm doing well facade, even though you are not doing so well, because you don't want to stress the people around you and give them a double trauma and stuff like my dad and all the other people. And so deep down I was hurt, because having to go through, I wasn't planning for this, I wasn't anticipating for this. I would have somewhat prepared if I knew this would come in. I don't know, just make sure I was prepared. So it came out of the blue. I was so unprepared and I went through horrible. Sometimes I read the comments on social media, I'm like, why do I have to go through all of this? But I guess now it's purely concise that I did not really deserve it at all. Yes, sir.
I'm thankful that you spoke to us, and all the best to you. Right, so your brother was at the center of all this. How did you feel when your brother had to go through all this and you have to watch him, and you were going to school and he wasn't, and he was home? Now that the judgment has ruled in their favor, how do you feel? Let me start from you.
I'm feeling very happy, because now it has all ended, and on a happy note, of course. Now he can go to school and at least have a bit or the experience of SHS life. Like, he had to watch us go to school every day, and all he could do was sit back in the house and watch us go to school, but now he can go to school, and I'm very happy for that.
Right, so what about you? What is the feeling like?
I feel victorious, because now he can go to school, have the opportunity as everyone, and other Rasta children can also go to school with like a bit of prestige, not be like discriminated or, yes, discriminated in any way, but they can walk around freely as every normal child. Yes. So I feel
right. So these two ladies that I just spoke with were Tyrone Magai. They are triplets, and so they had to watch their brother stay home as they go to school every day. They say it was a terrible time for them, but today's judgment ensures that their brother will also go to school very soon, either this week or the next. And so they're excited about this, and they've always wanted this day to come so that their brother could also join them in senior high school and relive the dreams that they have always had. And so, Gipsy, as I sign out and hand over to you back in studio, it's all excitement, it's all joy, it's all fun here at the Human Rights Division of the High Court, as Justice Giftia Jayado has just rendered down her decision ordering Achimota School to admit the 2 Rastafarian students that it refused to admit because of their dreadlocks. The court said those specific rules apart from contravening the laid down constitutional procedures as in the right to education, right to express one's religion, are not rules that can actually go against the constitution. And so because of that, the decision by Achimota School has literally been struck out, and Tyrone Magai and Kweku Nkrabia are expected to go to school this week.
Okay, well, Kweku, thank you very much. I was going to ask you to talk to their father as well, but that's okay. Let's get on the phone and talk to Bright Appiah. Bright Appiah is a child rights activist, and he is one of the people who actually were in support of this legal case. Ms. Appiah, thank you for your time. Good afternoon. Ms. Appiah, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Fantastic. So, first of all, was this to be expected, you think?
Well, it was, for us, it was 50-50. And that is why we also developed interest in supporting them to go to court. And attending court every day, listening to the judgment or listening to the whole proceedings. I thought at the very end, we thought that it's going to be a 50-50 until leadership announced or gave that.
Okay. I am having a terrible feedback in that line there, so let's drop this and try and raise him back again. That's Bright Appiah. He's a child rights activist there, sharing his thought with us. He is one of the people who supported the suit by the families, to compel the system to allow the children with the dreadlocks to go to school at the Achimota School. We'll try and raise Bright Appiah back. But well, this afternoon, if you are just hearing, the court has decided, and now the two students who wanted to get into Achimota School can now do so. Let's go back to Bright Appiah now. Ms. Appiah, you were making a point, but the line was bad.
Yes. Just as I was saying, we had a 50-50 expectation, but attending to court and when the interlocutory injunction was denied, and then also where her ladyship announced that she wants to expedite action on this particular case, I knew very well that there's going to be a fair judgment delivered. And that's what exactly she did, looking at the analysis of the case and then coming to conclusion that this is what's supposed to be. Clearly also gives room for Ghana Education Service to also begin to look at how best to develop rules and regulations. But I think that is a victory for all children in Ghana whose rights must be protected within our school environment. So that is what we've been yearning for, and that's what exactly the concern. So we are okay.
The concern has been that, well, now what? Now that this ruling has come, it means that anybody can come and say, I do not want to abide by the rules, but there is precedent, or that if you won't allow me because I don't want to abide by your rules, I'm going to court. They're saying that it's not such a good thing for a harmonious, flow of our education system.
Not at all, because her ladyship was very careful in terms of dealing with this particular issue, and then she gave a certain foundation for which the right of religion must be respected within the context of our vis-a-vis the school rules and regulations. So, if you watch the judgment carefully, I was in court, so if you watch the judgment carefully, she tried as much as possible to lay the foundation for what should be the rules and regulations, the essence of it vis-a-vis the issue of promoting the right of children when it comes to religion. So she didn't place these two above the other. She made it clear and drew the conclusion that, look, the right of children is most important, so that that needs to be respected. So it is not a floodgate that has been opened, but this was purely made on specific issues and all that. And then if you apply the litmus text in terms of what the religion should be and what regulation should also be, clearly those are the things that you need to do. So it is not just a matter of she opening the floodgate, but she was very specific as to what should be exercise of religion within our educational system and what needs to be done. That is why I am of the view that she has even helped Ghana Education Service to develop rules and regulations to standardize the way and manner schools will conduct themselves. And for me, once they get the judgment, I think that the next step that they need to take is to come up with rules and regulations.
But now that they have to go back to school, the Achimota School and the other people who were in this suit can decide that they want to go for an appeal. What that means is that these students are going to go to school thinking that anything can happen. How healthy is that for students and for young people trying to build on their dreams?
Yeah, it is true. It is also the right of Achimota to appeal the case. So even before the judgment, I had a discussion with Tyrone and the family that anything is expected. So we need to also prepare for all the things that will come out of it. And we did. And we took certain decisions that we would, certain steps that we want to engage in the process. So if it happens that they would want to go for appeal, for now we know that the court has instructed them to admit the child. So until then, the uncertainties are there, and we have to prepare the child for those uncertainties. But for now, I feel that a window has been opened, and we need to take advantage of that and then see what will happen in the future.
Sounds good. Sounds good. Right, thank you very much for your time. Unless there's anything else you think you should add, that'll be it for me.
Oh, for me, I would also want to appreciate the work that has been done by the media in fighting for the right of children. And this is a landmark case. And we thank all of you for the great work that you've done so far.
Bryce, thank you once again. Bryce Appiah is Executive Director of Child Rights International. He is a child rights advocate himself. He supported this court case in the first place. Today, they have victory. He says this is an opportunity for all the stakeholders, especially the Ghana Education Service and the schools, to have to come out with rules that govern what happens subsequently. But there is also the opportunity or the possibility that the school will appeal. We'll follow the story and give you updates. You're watching The Pulse with me, Gifty and Appiah. Let me take a very quick break. We'll be right back. Do stay with us.